Welcome back to Team O'Neill. What we're going to look at today is reasons you might start a manual transmission vehicle in gear, either first or reverse. In this Tacoma, that means we're going to use the clutch start cancel button. So if you've got one and you've never used that, we'll show you a few reasons why that might work. But this is really applicable in any manual transmission vehicle, older vehicles that don't have a clutch safety switch, most modern vehicles, it's very easy to disable that clutch safety switch. And we'll look at a few places where you would want to start in gear. All right, so we're in low range four-wheel drive, manual transmission is in first gear, parking brake is off. All you do is turn the key on, push that clutch start cancel button, and then start the vehicle. It's gonna be in gear, it's gonna just start driving forward. So the first and most obvious place this will be useful to you is on hill starts. Everybody who drives a manual transmission knows starting on a steep hill is kind of a pain in the butt. One easy way around that is just to be in first gear and then just start it in first gear. And especially in four-wheel drive low range like this, we're just going to drive away without moving backwards at all. It is important as well to know that this does work just as well in reverse. So if you drive down a hill and realize you don't want to be there anymore, it's easy enough to just have the vehicle off in reverse and you won't risk moving forward at all. When you start it, you're only going to back up. It's also really nice to be able to do for a failed hill climb scenario. If you try to make it up a steep hill and you realize it's not going to work out and the vehicle stalls, you can be in a pretty precarious situation. Where if you got your wits about you a little and you can get it into reverse and start it in gear, you'll come back down that hill pretty safely and effectively. One other place you might want to start a manual transmission in gear is when you're nosed up to a steep little obstacle. A lot of people nose up to an obstacle like this and then start to ride the clutch and give it gas, and everybody's smelled burning clutch before, and it's not going to be too long before you smoke the clutch and the vehicle won't move anymore. Another way to do that is to be in first gear and just start it with the key, drive right up and over it. At first, it might seem like this is a little hard on the starter motor, and for sure, you're definitely using that small electric motor to move the whole vehicle. But if it's either use up a little bit of that starter's life or use up a little bit of that clutch's life, it's important to remember that you can start your car without a starter, but you can't drive your car without a clutch. If we slip the clutch and burn the clutch up as we're driving along, this vehicle is going to be dead in the water. Where if we do ruin that starter motor from playing around like this a little bit too much, we can bump start the car going down a hill, we can pull start it with a tow strap. There's a lot of different things we can do to get this vehicle up and running and drive it just fine. But once that clutch is gone, the party's kind of over. And the last reason, at least we've got, that you might want to start a manual transmission vehicle in gear is if this thing's broken down. It's probably not going to happen in this case, so I've pulled the fuel pump relay to make sure that this car will not start. But anytime you've got a vehicle that just won't fire for you, you can move it out of the road, you can move it up onto a trailer, you can still move it around as long as you've got some battery juice by just starting it in gear. You're only going to want to move it 3 or 4 feet at a time. Give that starter motor a chance to rest and cool down. In this case, let's try it in second gear, low range, and it moves a lot faster. Let's try it just because we're on flat level ground, third gear in low range. So that's just a few reasons why you might want to start a manual transmission vehicle in gear. This is also particularly handy if you have a clutch hydraulic failure or a clutch cable failure in an older vehicle. If the clutch pedal itself is just broken and doesn't work, you can't operate that clutch. You're going to need to start it in first gear, even just to take off from a stop sign or something like that. If you've got any other reasons why you've started a manual transmission in gear, please add them in the comments. If you're into these kinds of videos, consider subscribing to the channel. Check out teamoneil.com and the variety of courses that we offer up here at our campus in New Hampshire. Be safe, have fun, and we'll catch you next time.